a second here. Make sure there's no technical difficulties going on my end, making sure audio, video, sounds working in. If you can hear me, would love to get just drop some comments in there. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics: how to get clients. Right? If you're watching this, getting clients is probably, oh no, my my stream is telling me that it's having trouble broadcasting to Instagram. I see y'all fine folks are able to hear me okay. Uh, please check the destination to ensure, or just remove it. I think we're good. I'll ignore Instagram. Instagram won't hear from us tonight. YouTube hears us. What's up, Sean? Awesome. So, like I was saying, tonight we're going to be talking about clients, right? Getting clients is, in my experience, one of the most attractive topics that you can discuss as an info publisher. If you can teach people how to get clients who have no experience and are just starting off, like that is catnip to a lot of folks. A lot of people want to know how to get clients before they want to know how to actually do a good job servicing clients. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. I actually have 3 strategies I want to share with y'all about how best practices in my mind for getting clients, whether you're just starting off, whether you've had a little bit of experience, or you're a seasoned pro. So each of the strategies I want to share with you tonight is actually targeting a very specific type of service provider. So if you're brand new, if you've never worked with a client before and you're trying to get your first one, I got a strategy for you. If you're intermediate, maybe you've had some client work to moderate success, but you're struggling to get a consistent pipeline of clients and consistent work full time, I got a strategy for you too. And then if you've been in the game for a long time, you got plenty of clients who love working with you, but you're trying to scale it up. Maybe you're trying to go from just being a small solopreneur. Maybe you want to have a big agency where you're bringing in a big pipeline of clients every single day. So we'll talk about strategies for all 3 of those folks. But it would be, I see Curtis here saying just starting out. Very helpful, Curtis. So what would be super helpful for me today is I've been just having a lot of discussions with Rich. And then, by the way, Rich would love to be here, but he is just suffering right now in sunny Cabo, Mexico. So unfortunately, he couldn't join us. He is just overcommitted right now and having a terrible time in beautiful Cabo San Lucas with some awesome people at Amber Spears Mimosa Mastermind. Well, he's sipping mimosas. I got my whiskey here. It's happy hour in Baltimore. So we'll have some fun tonight, hopefully, in lieu of Rich. While he's off vacationing, we can have some fun too. Samuel, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in tonight. So would help me out, folks, just so I can help guide the conversation around clients and really give me a gauge. As I mentioned, the 3 strategies I want to share you tonight are going to be applicable for all 3 levels of wherever you are in your client getting business. But what would be really helpful for me to know is if you're looking to get clients, like what is your offer? What is your offer to clients? What is the service you provide? Are you a media buyer and you're trying to buy traffic and sell leads to clients? Are you a copywriter and are looking for clients who you can write long form sales letters for? Are you a personal optimization coach and you want to work with entrepreneurs to help get their fitness back on track so they can be more successful, more motivated, more energized? So what is your offer? What is your niche? If you're on this live stream right now and you're trying to get clients, what are you selling? All right. So if you could drop in the chat and let me know right now, what is your offer to clients and what are you trying to sell clients, and what business, what industry are you in as a service provider? I know we have a ton of them on our list, and that's something that actually me and the team and Rich have been doing a lot of thinking about over the past few weeks. Like the stuff we talked about in internet marketing and growing online business, it's so applicable to so many people. in the marketing strategies and the tactics we share inside Steal Our Winners and in our newsletter, it can service such a wide range of folks. So we're always just very curious, like, who is getting the most value out of the work we do and the content we create. And so it's like super helpful to know, like, okay, is most of the people here, are you coaches, consultants? Are you your own entrepreneur? Or do you have a big business, small business? So all these things is super helpful. I see Pam Pierce here saying, I help people design and build their dream home with less worry. Look, I'm fancy too. I can do what Rich does. Look at that. I help people design and build their dream home with less stress and worry by preventing costly problems. Okay. So Pam, it sounds like you're a consultant helping people build. I'm going to assume you're not an architect. Are you the architect? Do you just are you one of the people kind of connecting the home builder with the architect, with the consumer, helping them like do the design and get furniture and all that stuff? That's what it kind of sounds like there. Jason, great to be back, Jason. Thanks for showing up again, man. Appreciate you. Curtis says here, Conversio bot. Is that like a conversation bot? Some type of AI? I'm guessing here. I help e-com entrepreneurs who've done 1.5 million in the last 12 months double sales in 3 to 6 months without adding new people, products, or ads, or your money back. Preston, that is a pretty dialed in offer there. I'm just curious. I'd love to know like which ways you when you're saying you help e-com entrepreneurs specifically double their sales. It sounds like, are you like a CRO type of person? You're going to go through their full funnel and look for ways they can optimize conversions, or are you actually helping drive traffic to their business? Always curious about that kind of stuff too. Excuse me, jump around here. Video advertising, marketing, just starting to get a good feel. I have a proven, trusted, proven process. Very nice. Congrats, Preston. Pam says course, coaching, community, not architect or builder. Gotcha. So selling info products to those people who are trying to build their dream home and connecting them with the right folks and information there. Right. Long form fit sales letters, emails, ad copy for experts in the biz op niche. Okay, cool. Jason says, just starting info marketing on how to be essential employee and navigate your career. Okay. Gotcha. So it sounds like for a lot of these folks, yes, for all niches there, Gordon wants to know what the fuck is going on with my earlobes. Well, Gordon, they are called earrings, and I put them in my earlobes because I think they're stylish. All right, that's what the hip young kids do these days with their newfangled earrings that shove right in there and stretch out the earlobe. But for the most part, it sounds like we're dealing with a lot of B2B folks. I offer filmmakers a group program to make a successful and commercial viable film. Beautiful. Awesome. Appreciate that, Tanya. So yeah, it sounds like a lot of people are working with other businesses. So if you're looking for clients, it sounds like most of the people who are looking for clients on this live stream are B2B, right? So you're looking for a business that you can help grow their business and make it more successful, or help them achieve more growth, more clients, better outcomes for their customers, etc. So let's jump into some of the content here. Got a few more answers. Of a UX design and implementation agency. Very cool, Marco. Definitely need some UX designers myself. I help busy people finally achieve their envisioned health and fitness transformation. Awesome, Dewey. Yeah, that's more B2C. So yeah, Pam's B2C, Dewey there's B2C. It's got a good mix going, looks like. So let me, I'm gonna have a few downers for you here. One of those downers is, unfortunately, the strategies that I'm going to tell you about tonight. None of them are a silver bullet. I promise you that if you actually apply them, they will help you get clients. And I can also promise that I have used the 3 strategies I'm going to share with you tonight myself, and I have used them myself, and I have gotten clients with them myself. So these are not. This is not theory here. These are proven processes and strategies for getting more clients. They're not easy though. When I was writing the email copy to prep people to let them know what we're going to be talking about tonight, nowhere in that copy did I say these strategies were going to be easy, but they are effective. And if you do them, they can get you results relatively quickly. Okay. So let's jump into the first one. And the first strategy I want to talk about tonight is what I recommend for 90% of people who I come across who are trying to provide a service, whether B2B or B2C, for someone else, but they have no experience. They've maybe done it for themselves. Maybe they've spent a lot of time studying their industry, and they have, they've practiced a lot, or they've been doing a lot of the research. Maybe they're a course junkie, have been bouncing around, slurping down some books, but they feel like, okay, now I know enough about this service, whether that's copywriting, or maybe that's media buying, or maybe that's you're a fitness coach. Maybe you've gotten jacked yourself and you're trying to share your approach with other dads like you, whatever your offer is, but you've yet to actually get your first client, sign a contract, cash that money in, and get some results for them. How do you find those first suckers who are just going to give you money without seeing any proof of results in return? And that's one of the hardest, most challenging parts when you're getting clients, is when you don't have the proof, when you don't have the social proof, when you can't say, hey, go ask this person for my reference because I've done such a great job for them. And all you can say is like, well, I've read this book, or I've taken this course, or maybe I've done it for myself and see how it's worked out for me. Right. That's challenging. But I've done, though, in situations like this. And again, going back to the non-sexy advice here, albeit very effective advice, which is I have lived, and mostly lived, not living and died, by my hunger to do spec assignments and going out there and doing work for free. And I'm going to give a lot of caveats to this. Okay. I'm not saying just like go out, find the first person and say, hey, I'll do this for you for free. Okay. You want to be very selective about the type of work you're doing for free and who you're doing the work for, and the expectations around the work when you're doing work for free. Okay. Let's backtrack real quick. Let me tell you just 2 quick stories of times I've done work for free. That's really helped me in my career. Okay. So the first time, way back when in high school, I think I was on, it's going to date me here. I was really into graphic design. I took a lot of art classes in high school. I was almost going to go to art school. I took several years of graphic design, but I had no experience, and I didn't want to work over the summer at a traditional summer job. So I wanted to do graphic design. It was fun for me. I enjoyed playing around in Photoshop. I was decent at it, but again, I'm like 16 years old at the time, zero experience. I've never been paid to do this for anyone before. So I immediately go on Craigslist and I write a post saying that I will design your logos for free. And I did like 3 logos for people on spec, and one of them was really good and the client loved it. The other one was trash, and the client was like, oh, and I'll be the first one to tell you it was garbage. But that single experience was incredibly insightful and valuable. It taught me, because it was the first time I had really even worked with clients, albeit for free. But it gave me a level of experience to know, like, okay, this is how I do work with clients. This is how I'm getting feedback. This is how I need to improve my work. And it did make my work better. And it ultimately led to me getting my first paid assignment as a graphic designer. Okay. Long story long, I'm not currently a graphic designer, so that's probably not the best example. But let me give you a way better example that is going to come more full circle here, which was the story of the first time I've actually written copy for someone. All right. Very similar story. I knew I was interested in writing copy. I'd gone to an entrepreneurship camp in Lithuania, and one of my mentors, Matt Smith, who ended up becoming the CEO of Stansberry Research and is now the CEO of a company called Royalty Exchange. And he's been a mentor of mine for many, many, many years. And what I learned from Matt at that entrepreneurship camp, he was saying, if there's one skill that I would want to learn starting off as an entrepreneur, starting a business online, it would be copywriting. And at the time, I had no idea what copywriting was or what it meant. I knew I liked to write, but I hadn't really learned much about copywriting. And at the time, again, I was still in college. And so I read a bunch of books on copywriting. I went to like one seminar on copywriting. After that seminar, I was like, oh, this is so easy. I just add a couple words here and there, like use these trigger words, and then suddenly I'm going to be a control beating machine. So I thought. So I read some books on copywriting, started getting into it, took a few courses. But again, I had no experience writing copy yet. And the copy I had written was bad and didn't deliver any results. So, but practice makes perfect. So what I did was I reached out to a few of the connected people, the most connected people who were in my, who went to the same entrepreneurship camp as me. So I reached out to my network. I said, hey, I am trying to get experience as a copywriter and just build my portfolio and get feedback and learn. And so if anyone here, we had like a private Facebook group at the time. So I just blasted out in the private Facebook group, hey, if anyone needs copy for any of their ventures they're working on, let me just take a stab at it. And I'd love to just try it, get some feedback and see what I can do. And then after I did that, one of the guys, I want to say his name was Julian. Yeah, his name was Julian. He was actually really successful. I'm sure he's still really successful. But Julian reached out to me, gave me a project to work with him on. I think it was like writing a description of an app he was working on, an iPhone app, as well as writing some copy for a gardening business he had. And then he connected me with 3 other people in his network who needed copy as well. He connected me with a gentleman who had an info product on an exercise routine for rugby athletes specifically. So that was really interesting, studying all about rugby and learning about what makes their workout routine unique and why they need this specific type of workout routine for the sport that they do. And then another client he connected me with was a woman who had an info product that taught men how to give women amazing orgasms. So the info product was called Mastering Female Orgasms, and as a 20-year-old, 21 maybe at the time, that was an interesting read for me. I was like, all right, I'll write some copy about that. Maybe I might learn a thing or two as well. But it was just that experience of writing copy for all these different markets who I'd never even thought about before, or had even a sec. I would have not been like, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to become the best sex copywriter there is, or the best fitness copywriter there is. But that experience of just opening up my repertoire to the different niches of copy and going through that exercise of meeting a client who I didn't know, having to learn their backstory, learn about their product, learn about where they're struggling in their business, and how I need to frame the copy, what type of copy they're looking for, whether it was a sales page, whether it was a description for an app or a product description. That was huge. It was something that I'd never really experienced. And so I did probably 4 or 5, maybe 6 assignments on spec for those people. And again, they gave me referrals to other people who were like, oh, you should talk to Matt and he can write some copy for you. And so that was really how I got my first foray into copywriting. And that gave me my preliminary portfolio. So that, okay, I did some assignments for free, built up a little bit of a portfolio, got some testimonials from people who could be like, yeah, Matt did a solid job writing some copy for me. Here's the work. I'm happily work with him again. Right. So now I've gone from brand new copywriter who's never written for any client before to now I've written for 4 or 5 clients. I have great testimonials from those clients, and I have the portfolio of work of the writing that I've done for those clients. Okay. So now I'm in way better of a position to go out and get real client work, which is then what I was able to leverage into my first copywriting job at Stansberry, which was an Agora company, right? So I worked my ass off to write for free so I could build up a portfolio, show that I was hungry, and I was able to, and with that portfolio, I was able to get my foot in the door and become a junior copywriter at Agora, right? You see the pattern there. So that is the number one thing that I would recommend if you are brand. And again, I know people are going to be rolling their eyes. I don't want to have to work for free. I don't want to have to spend time. And there's so much uncertainty around it. It's like, are they going to hire me? Is this going to be worth my time? And if you are brand new and you don't have a portfolio and you don't have people willing to pay you money right now, absolutely, it's worth your time. It's worth your time to get the practice to make you better and sharpen your skills. One of the biggest problems that freelancers and coaches, consultants, whatever you face, if you're in a client business and you don't have clients right now and you're not actively serving clients, then you are holding yourself back from getting better every single day, right? One of the biggest advantages of having consistent work or being an employee, not having to service clients all the time, is that you just get to focus on the work, right? And so if you're at a place in your career right now where you haven't had that first client and you're just studying, right? Every day is a day that you could be practicing. It is a day that you could be adding more and more work to your portfolio, more case studies to your website to prove how good of a service provider and work you do. So I know it can feel like a waste of time. And if you have that mindset, it probably will be a waste of time, right? You can't go into it with that mindset. You have to look at it as a win, even if that one client doesn't turn into a paying client. It's a win by getting the practice. It's a win by adding that to your portfolio. And it can be a win even if they just give you a testimonial. It was like, hey, Matt was fun to work with, and any type of validation to show that you hit your deadlines, the work was up to their standard, the work actually generated some sales, whatever it is, right? To be able to get those three things, get the practice, get the testimonial, and get the work that you can then add to your portfolio. That's 3 wins right there, even though it might not be a paying client. Okay. And if you do that a couple times, now you have a portfolio. Now you have several testimonials. That's way easier to leverage into a paying client. And then if you do a banging up job for those clients, it can be like, oh, if you really enjoyed this, let's talk about doing a recurring project together. Or is there other projects you're working on that you need help with as well? Or if if you don't have any extra work, maybe there's people that who be who are looking for a copywriter too, or whatever that service that you offer is. All right. So that's my strategy number 1 for tonight for people with zero experience, is just do that. Just start with that. And I promise you, it's when you're offering your work for free, it's really hard to find people who won't hire you. So again, to those caveats of like who you should work for and when it's appropriate. If you're gonna do this for free, be very strategic about who you reach out to and offer this for, right? I would be looking for, who is your ideal client? Who is that whale? Because again, remember, the ultimate outcome isn't necessarily just getting paid. The ultimate outcome can be adding something to your portfolio or getting a testimonial, right? So imagine if I'm a copywriter, getting a testimonial from a publisher who's really big in my industry is a huge win for me. I can throw that on my website and suddenly I'm credentialized and I'm going to be able to get a lot more clients just from that one testimonial. So if you're going to invest the time to do spec assignments for free, make sure that you're very thoughtful about who you're going to reach out to. Who's your dream 10 clients that you would love to work for, and you would just hustle to get a testimonial from those people, or to say, I worked with so and so and here's the work I did for them, right? So that's what I would do, is I'll play the numbers game in terms of, and I've always done it this way. I've never been the type of service provider to try to go really mass market where I'm trying to attract as many clients as I can and just have a commoditized service that I offer. Instead, I try to just really have a small handful of clients who I like a lot. We have a great relationship. I trust them to do the right thing in the relationship, and I know that those clients as well are going to be they're top tier clients who are well known in the industry, and my work for them is going to lead to, and even if it never leads to anything, just finding clients who you feel comfortable and would love to be with forever. But if you're not, then at least you could say, oh, I worked with so and so, and adding those testimonials and that those case studies and those credentials to your resume is huge. All right. Let's take a quick break here before I jump onto the next strategy. Would love to see if anyone has questions on like if you're a newbie, right, or questions about spec assignments, things like that. Again, when it comes to spec assignments, not only have I done spec assignments myself and gotten jobs by doing those things, but it's also how I hire copywriters. If anyone here is a Steal Our Winners subscriber, we just came out with the October issue last weekend, and I had an interview in Steal Our Winners for that month, and it was all about my process for hiring copywriters. And if you watch that interview, you'll notice writing a spec assignment for free is something that I have every copywriter do who applies to work with us. It's part of the game. And if you're not hungry enough to demonstrate that you can write good copy for us, even if it's not a paid assignment, then you're clearly it's not a good fit. You're not in love with working with our business as much as I want all of our freelancers and consultants to be. So any questions on that stuff before I keep rolling? Let me jump back into the comments here. I see Samuel saying that he's into affiliate marketing. Oh man, he's on, look at that, on Facebook and YouTube. I got Emmy here. You're welcome, Emmy. Ready? Hey, how's it going, Jamie? Appreciate that. All right. Let's move on to my next super boring, obvious way to get clients that no one actually wants to do. All right. As I was mentioning earlier, when we cover these topics about how to give clients, I'm kind of moving up the progression of beginner to advanced. And so Don says, I find copy interesting, but trying to learn more. I know I typically make all my live streams when I fill in first, just talking about copy, because that's what I know. I'm going to trying to make it a little more applicable for all the service providers on this live stream tonight, and would love your feedback on that. Personally, though, I just know how important, like I was saying, and if you are a copywriter on this call, finding clients, like the offer and the idea of like this is kind of an experiment here. I wanted to see how many people would actually tune in with Rich not being on, but if I can make a audacious promise, like how to find clients, like how engaging, how important of a problem is that to our audience and our list? And seeing 35 people on, I think I've topped that before. Maybe it was just the Thursday night. We'll see. I think Rich usually something about Rich, man. Drop his name on it. He's always going to get a bigger audience than me. We'll have to work on that. Maybe we can tell me what I'm doing wrong. All right. Number 2 though, for ways to get more clients. All right. So this next tip is for someone who has some clients, who's done some client work, has gotten some feedback, has gotten some results, has some testimonials, but the work isn't steady. They probably still do a lot of outreach for clients, cold outreach, things like that. And they just don't have a pipeline, or they don't have any consistent way in which they're constantly getting more clients. All right. Hey, John Sinclair. Oh, April says it is a pressing problem. Totally agree. Getting clients. Who doesn't want more clients? What's up, John? How are you? John, we've chatted before. Good to see you, man. So yes, getting clients is absolutely a pressing problem. So if you are struggling with consistency of clients, or maybe the quality of your clients, maybe you have some clients, but you just getting clients to put you on retainer long term, or finding that enough client work to keep you busy Monday through Friday, 365, right? That in itself is tough. So what I do in this situation, again, super boring and should be super obvious, but I guarantee you, you're probably not doing this. And if you were doing it, you'd be shocked how easily it is to find more clients doing this. But the best client that you have, or the perfect client for you, is probably the client you already got. All right. And what I mean by that is, if you need more client work right now, then the first person you should talk to is your client, right? You should be asking your client, hey, you think I'm doing a good job? Oh, if you think so, let's do more work together, right? If I want to scale up my relationship, I'm always going back to the people who I'm having the best experience with already. I've done this with a bunch of clients in working relationships where it started off as, oh, let's start with this project together. I'll start by writing you a sales letter, or a lead magnet or something like that. Or maybe I'll start by doing your daily emails. And then it evolves from like, oh, we're crushing it on these emails. How about I take over this list too? Or how about, instead of me just writing these sales letters for you, what if, do you need a copy chief? You're trying to grow your copywriting practice. How about I come on, be the copy chief, and I can help you recruit more copywriters, right? So if you need more work from clients, the first person you should be going to is your current client. Who are your best clients? And talking about ways that you two can work together more and in moving up the ladder, moving up the ascension of the type of work you're doing, the prices you're charging for that work, and the scale and scope of that work, right? Easiest conversation you're probably ever going to have, right? If you have a happy client already, just go back to that client and say, hey, you're loving what's already going on right now. Let's keep doing more of that. And here's a proposal on how we can achieve even better, bigger results together, right? And making it mutually beneficial and a win-win type of arrangement. Easy, right? But that's one part of the recommendation. Don't worry, it's not that boring, right? The other part is like, okay, so the client loves you, but they're tapped out. They don't have any more work for you. They're at capacity. What do you do? Obviously, ask them for referrals, right? Been talking about this a lot through this call so far, about the power of just the testimonial. And I swear to you, referrals have been the biggest source of client getting success for me in my entire career, period, bar none. Referrals. And again, you can start getting referrals in our previous example as soon as you've done your free spec assignments, right? You don't even need to get paid to start getting referrals. You can do assignments for free, get the testimonial from that assignment, add that to your portfolio, and then suddenly you're getting referrals elsewhere, right? And just for a little anecdote on the success of referrals for you here to illustrate just how powerful they are. Let me take a sip of my whiskey. So when I was a copywriter at Agora, when I first got the job, my copy chief, Mike Palmer, who is legendary copywriter, wrote The End of America, one of the greatest financial copywriters of all time, one of the GOATs, probably the richest copywriter I've ever met outside of like Mark Ford and Bill Bonner. But this dude he's amazing, right? He's one of the GOATs. So Mike Palmer told me when I first started as a junior, he told the whole class of copywriters when we started, it was about 7 of us. And his promise to this new group of junior copywriters was that you work here for 2 to 3 years and you're never going to have to worry about work again. And I was like, okay, we'll see. It was a cool promise that he made us. And it was the freaking truth, man. No joke. Every one of those copywriters who was in there, except for one, there was one copywriter of the 7, one got cut within the first 30 days. She was not cutting it. Um, but the 6 other copywriters of that class, I know for a fact, uh, all 6 of them had very successful copywriting careers. Uh, bunch of them more so, like I'm not even the most successful of that class. Not that I'm super successful. Like one of the copywriters in my class is now the copy chief at Stansberry Research. She's fucking beast, crushes it. But my point is, like after that 2 to 3 years, just the experience of having been a copywriter in Agora, that credential allowed me to get a ton of referrals. Okay, and so the moment I left, and the moment I was like, yeah, at the time I felt like I was floundering. I wasn't growing and progressing as much as I had been. I felt a little too complacent. So it's like, you know what? I need a change of pace. I need to push myself a little harder and get out of here. So after I left, what was her name? Jenny Thompson. Jenny Thompson, who was the former CEO of New Market Health, which was a health division within Agora. She knew I knew Jenny, and I'd never really worked with Jenny, but Jenny knew I was a copywriter Stansberry, and she knew that I had just left Stansberry. And Jenny had recently left Agora too, and she was doing a lot of consulting for internet marketing and direct response businesses as well. So she was consulting for a bunch of clients, and she just happened to know, like, I'm an Agora trained copywriter. I had just left. I'd never worked with her, so she could. It's not like she knew intimately how good or terrible my copy was, but just by the fact that we were both at Agora together, and she knew that I was trained under Mike Palmer, and now I left. Suddenly, she just starts referring me all these clients. I was like, I left, and just that relationship with Jenny, and her knowing me as a copywriter, and her having all these clients too, she referred me like 3 or 4 different clients. And I was flabbergasted. And then like immediately after leaving Agora, seriously, this was not even me going out and like, hey Jenny, can I get some referrals? No, it was like Jenny asking, hey Matt, you taking any clients? Sure, Jenny. And she was just sending them my way. And those clients led to other clients. And so as soon as I left Agora, essentially, I had a long list of people who were down to work with me, and if I needed more, I knew where to call. All right. And so same thing goes for you, right? If you have a couple clients now, and again, it goes back to there, it's twofold, right? It's like having clients is good and getting referrals is good, but also the quality of those referrals is super important. And that's why you can't really discount the whole doing spec work for free. Like if it's a big enough client, it doesn't matter what they're paying you. What they're paying you is probably not worth as much as their testimonial, right? Like there's some clients that are just so well known in your market. Like if you can just work for them for free and get your foot in the door, get a testimonial from them, and show that you can get results, like that is going to set you up for all the clients you'll ever need after that, right? I can't belabor that enough. So if you don't have clients in your roster right now who you're working with, who are those bigger names who are able to give you the recommendations, referrals, and credentials that really show you that you're one of the top people in your business, either take a step back and maybe you should think about really doing the full court press and the outreach and the just showing someone in a business like that you're super hungry and getting that opportunity to make an impression, or just going back to the people who you've already been working with. They love your work. They either want to work with you more and they have more bandwidth to add you into their existing projects, or like business owners all the time, especially depending on what you do. If you're a copywriter or a media buyer or something like that, and if you're really good, people are always talking. Like when recently Donna Fox, who's the CMO of Groove Digital, her email copywriter quit. And I already have a great email copywriter on staff, so I didn't need to hire anymore. So I'm like, hey, here's a list of all the copywriters who have been emailing me and who I've already vetted to an extent. And I've just been like adding them to the backlog of people I'd consider hiring. Here, go go interview them, right? So finding that short list of the people you really want to work for, being aggressive with your outreach, and like when it comes to making an impression as a service provider, um, for me at least on the hiring side, I'm always more. It's always way more appealing to me if a service provider is just super hungry and excited to work with me, right? If they're a little just like just chomping at the bit and is so eager and it's like, I'm willing to jump through all the hoops to work with you. And I know everything about your business. I know what you do. I know your product. I love your product. It's great. I have so many ideas of how I want to help you. Like that is the ideal service provider that I want to work with. When I get an email though, or if someone's outreaching to me and it's more of a, hey, you have a problem and I'm going to help you solve this problem because like I'm really good at this thing. Like I looked at your website, bro, and you're not like doing everything you need to be SEO optimized. And so you should just pay me my fee because trust me, dude, when you pay me my fee, I'm going to get you ranked #1 on Google and then you're never going to have to worry about clients again. All right. So that's the person I don't like. If they sound too cool for school and are telling me all the things I'm doing wrong, and it's like, oh, thank goodness I found this person who I've never heard of before, who's just like the SEO expert, and suddenly like I'm going to pay you your fee, and you're going to teach me, all the big mistakes I'm making in online business, right? That's a turnoff. So I know we're kind of going on a slight tangent here, but just tips on outreach. Don't be that person trying to show like I know more than you about business and that's why you need to hire me. Instead, take the approach of I'm so excited to work with you because I think we can achieve some amazing results together. And again, it probably depends on like where you are, or actually it doesn't depend on where you are. Just trust me on this one because it's about positioning too. Like if you're doing outreach to someone, you're not in the position to say like, "Oh, I'm so impressive. You should be so impressed with my work." Yet I'm doing cold outreach to you, right? Like that dynamic of if you're so good at what you do, why are you doing cold outreach to me, right? So it's like if you're doing cold outreach, you should probably come with it with the positioning of humility and like excitement, and it's like I really want to work with you because I love what you do and I love your product, and I have a ton of ideas that I think can help you. Versus I'm very exclusive and hard to work with, and I charge a lot of money because I'm the best, right? Just want to think about that in terms of positioning there. Trust me, if you're more like the former, you'll get a lot more referrals, and your cold outreach will get a lot better, a lot well, as they say in grammatical school. All right, moving on to the last recommendation here of finding clients, and this is probably this is actually two different ways, but it's for the people who are a little more successful, who've gotten clients in the past, who have clients now, but you're trying to scale your client work. You either want a more consistent pipeline of clients, maybe because the clients you're working with now, they're like really big clients and they're great, but you don't want to be so vulnerable where you're only dependent on those clients. So maybe that's one reason where you want more. Maybe you don't want to be doing the hands-on client work as much and you want to scale it, and you want to bring on more of a team and build out more of an agency model in your business. If I was, for example, didn't want to write all the copy myself and I wanted to hire a team of copywriters that I would then copy chief, I would need a lot of clients to fill all the work for all the copywriters I want to hire. Media buying agencies do this kind of stuff all the time, etc. So if you're looking for a way to scale client getting, and you want to really turn it into a machine, there's two different ways I would advise doing that. So one of the ways is one that I've done personally to mediocre success. And then the other one is the way that I've not done, but I see lots of other people doing it successfully, but just not I'll probably do this for strategic profits eventually, but not haven't done it for my own services as a copywriter or consultant. So first strategy is, and this is a very popular strategy, unfortunately, for people who have not enough experience, and that is becoming an authority in your marketplace. All right. And what I mean by that is, if you are looking to get more clients, a great way to do it is by becoming the authority in your space on social media, on Facebook Live. Create Facebook Lives and then go on Facebook and then show Facebook how much you know about what you do, just like I'm trying to do right now in a very poor fashion, right? So creating content, whether that's email content, whether it's posts on social media, whether it's creating a Facebook group or writing on Twitter, publishing your ideas on YouTube, whether video, text, whatever the medium is, podcasting, but publishing your ideas and showing how you're an authority, showing how you're in touch with the market, showing that you have unique ideas that are different from the way most people go about solving their problems that your business solves, right? So this is a very common strategy that I see. And I think and I've done it myself. After I got those referrals after leaving Agora, I wanted to start coaching copywriters. I wanted to start a info biz around that, where people would buy my courses on copywriting, and I would coach copywriters in a weekly live call, and I would actually connect those copywriters who I was coaching with my clients. And so I had a great synergy there, where I was working with awesome clients and I was also coaching copywriters. And then those really good copywriters I was coaching, I would connect them with my clients and then have them backfill like the extra work that I didn't have the bandwidth for, right? And I had deals arranged with my clients where I would get referral bonuses and things like that for bringing on new copywriters and working with them. But obviously, like, to scale up that business, to find lots of newbies who wanted to buy my course or get my copy coaching, that required a different approach than how I went about going and finding those clients to write their copy in the first place. And so to do that, I got started on Twitter. I started a Twitter account. I went down crazy Twitter rabbit holes with all these 19-year-old ecom bros who like to flex and show off their Beamer, and how they made 7-figure businesses in a matter of months by drop shipping product from China. So I was in the weeds with the Twitterverse, ecom Twitter space, and a lot of those ecom guys were really into copywriting as well. They read a lot of Ben Settle and whatnot. And so Twitter was actually a very good platform for info publishers, because tweets are, like, if you're a copywriter, tweeting is a lot of fun. It's like just writing the headlines all the time. And you can, like, just stack the headlines and link them all together into a thread. So Twitter was good for me. And I would just tweet like a madman. And that got a little exhausting for a while too, because best practices say you need to tweet like 50 to 100 times a day to grow your account. And so, like, that was a hustle. And again, this is not, I'm going to eat my own words here when I said, these strategies aren't easy, but they can help you achieve results relatively quickly. Like, once you get this set up, getting the clients was pretty fast. The other two were way faster. Like, referrals is, you make a phone call, you can get a referral like that. And if you're outreaching to people cold and you're offering to do work for free, you can get the job pretty quickly if you find the right person and you're, like, making a strong case. But building up your own info empire and positioning yourself as an authority, a little trickier. It takes a little more hustle and a little more investment longer term. But like I said, it really helps before you start doing this, because I think one of the biggest mistakes I see is that people who are brand new, or maybe have just done a couple jobs with clients, try to just immediately jump into the authority approach, right? They start writing their posts on Facebook and are like, oh, comment it, leave a comment, or I don't know, say say winning in the comments, and I'll send you my free ebook, right? So the two-step method that everyone's doing on Facebook, right? You see a lot of folks do that. They're just messaging the folks who've their friends essentially on Facebook, and constantly leaving new Facebook pro posts. Type camera if you want me to send me a photo of. I'll send you a photo of my winning growth hack. I don't know. I'm making shit up. I don't do this anymore, so I don't. Yeah, I'm doing a very bad job of riffing copy. But I used to do that on the Twitter side, and I would just tweet all the time, and usually it would be linking back to my profile page. And on my profile page, it was like I had a pinned tweet at the top of my profile, and links in my profile that went back to my website where people could sign up for my email list. And so that was my general my funnel. Like I would tweet organic tweets. People would read my tweets. Those tweets would send them back to my profile. Like, who the fuck is this guy? And from my profile, I had designed my profile, the banner and the links and the pinned tweet at the top, to drive people to my website so they could opt in for my email list. And then on the email list, I would be writing daily about copywriting, and like, these are my tips on how to become a great copywriter, or the problems of copywriting, or what it's like to be a professional writer, and how to do it successfully. And so usually people who would be joining my email list or following me on Twitter were the exact kind of customers I wanted. It's people who wanted to learn about copywriting, people who wanted to get better at it, people wanted to start careers at copywriting. And so it was attracting, by writing that type of info, it was attracting the exact types of clients that I was looking for. And so that, for me, um, you know, but the caveat, of course, is that wasn't successful. That wouldn't have been successful if I didn't have the credentials already of having written for Agora and having clients already on my repertoire. Like, being able to, when I'm writing those tweets and when I'm writing my daily emails and when I'm publishing my ideas of like what great copy is, it was only credible and people only cared to read it because they knew of my credentials. They knew I had experience writing for Agora. They knew that I had sold millions of dollars worth of info products before. They knew that I was successful as a copywriter, and that I had a good number of clients, and that I was making good money as a copywriter. That I was getting, paid six figures as a copywriter and earning royalties on my copy, and the shit that most copywriters are like, oh, that's how I know I made it, right? But people wouldn't have read that stuff and cared unless I didn't, unless I had, if not for those credentials and that experience, right? So that's the one part of it. Like, if you're trying to scale your business and get consistent clients and do more, that's more of the organic approach. Like, that's the content marketing approach. So that's the content marketing strategy for generating new clients, is by publishing new content, whether on YouTube or on a podcast or Twitter or Facebook, publishing content regularly that demonstrates your ability as an expert in your space, that then people who are interested in hiring you would then read, and then that validates your authority as the expert. And then now suddenly they're like, oh, I should hire Matt as a copywriter. And because of that business, even though I was teaching people copy, I would get emails to my site all the time being like, hey, I need someone to write a sales letter. Are you taking any clients? And I'm just like, no. And at that point, like, I had too many clients on retainer to take on new clients. And so most of the time when people would reach out to me, once I was publishing regularly, that's when the stream of people who wanted to work with me all the time was just consistent, and I never had to do outreach, right? So it went from the progression that we've been talking about tonight. It starts with like cold outreach, when you're reaching out and be like, hey, I'll do this for you for free, to, it goes from cold outreach to warm outreach, which would be either asking your current clients for more work or having them give referrals to you, that's more of a warm outreach where it's like they might reach out to their contact friend first and be like, hey, I have this great copywriter, I'll put you in touch, and they make the intro, right? So that's more of a warm connection there. Maybe the impetus for the conversations, you started it, you initiated it, but then you're having someone else introduce you, so there's a warm connection there. And then finally, once you have more experience and you've built up a publishing platform, or you're disseminating your knowledge out there regularly and people are consuming it, that's when client work becomes more of it's just inbound, right? You'll get people sending you emails, they'll hit you up on your DMs. I got a message on LinkedIn the other day, which I never check, someone saying, hey, I have an 8-figure business and I would love you to consult with me on it. And I never respond to these people, unfortunately, because I'm too damn busy, right? And so that's the kind of position you want to be in, where it's really just a constant stream of people knocking on your door or sending you emails or sending you DMs about, hey, do you need some work, right? That's the end goal, right? And that's the kind of the progressions that it's taken to get me there. Now there's one last source that I'm going to give you here for ways to generate clients continuously and in a pipeline format. It's the one that I haven't cracked and done myself, but it is one that I know of lots of people doing extremely successfully, which is basically taking the authority approach of publishing, but then putting that on steroids with paid traffic, right? So lots of businesses and lots of service providers run paid traffic, and smartly so, right? They set up funnels just like any B2C business would, just like if you're selling an e-com product, right? There's plenty of service providers as well who've set up a ClickFunnels account, have an opt-in for a lead magnet that then goes to a webinar, that then goes to a booking page where they schedule a call and you get them on the phone and then you sell them your high ticket offer, right? And more, if you want to scale your client business, you're going to have to get to that point, right? Depending on how big or small you want your client business to be. If you want it to be 8 figures, you probably need a sales team. You'll probably need to do outbound. You probably need to buy traffic. Okay. And there's no way around that. That's, unless you have massive reach on the organic side and like your SEO is on fleek and you would just get, hundreds of thousands of views to your site in a consistent, or you're like a best-selling author, right? And you're just getting all these leads to your site from the people who read your book. Okay. And if that's not the case for you, then you probably need to figure out, okay, how can I take my offer and build that into a funnel where I'm going to reach out, really send traffic to my ideal client with an offer to, again, whether that's jumping right in from a post to go into a webinar, or maybe they start with a lead magnet. Maybe that lead magnet is a book you've written that's a #1 bestseller on Amazon, right? You see this all the time with the free book offers. Like 90% of the time, if you see a free book offer where it's like, just pay shipping and handling and get the book for free, I'm going to mail it to you. I promise you that is a funnel that's going to try to turn you into a client for a high ticket offer, right? That is how most folks do it nowadays. They have some sort of funnel in place where they're going to send you to a webinar, they're going to send you to a live event, live stream, or a VSL or a sales page or something, or maybe just on their email list at first, and then send you through an indoctrination sequence that educates you on who they are and what their services are and why you should hire them as their service provider, right? So the more you move up the ladder from just the high touch, reaching out to someone individually, like it does get progressively harder to get clients. Okay. So I know it sounds on the scalability side, driving traffic to a funnel that's going to crank out more and more clients for you every single day. That is the most scalable way to go about it. And that is going to be consistent. It's going to be very lucrative, but it is freaking hard, I promise you, to build one that is going to be successful when you're just getting started, right? So, if you're just getting started, and you don't have the results and credentials to show people that your process and solution work. Those are objections that are going to be really hard to overcome. And then, if you're also very new and you just the other problem with being very new is that you don't know how to sell your offer yet. You don't have enough experience closing clients where you don't know, like, what is the real problem that my offer is solving? What is the piece of my offer that's most attractive to clients? What is the number one part of it that had them saying yes? Like, what is the biggest, like, typically your offer will solve lots of different problems for the client, right? And there's lots of different features in your offer, but it's hard to know what was the one feature in my offer that made the client say yes. And of the problems that I'm going to help the client solve, what is the one problem that just really pushed them over the edge, that of everything else, like, it was nothing else was nearly as important as that one thing, right? And so, in frankly, in full transparency, we're still trying to figure that out with Stealer Winners. That's a constant evolution. The product is nearly 2 years old, and I'm still trying to dial in, like, who is that perfect customer, and who is the because it can be valuable to a lot of people, and there's lots of ways it is valuable, but who's that one person it's most valuable for, and what is that one feature that gives them the most value, right? And that takes a lot of time and experience of just practicing selling your offer. And if you don't have that figured out, it's really, really challenging to build a profitable funnel that's going to be driving new leads who then convert into clients for you on a consistent basis, right? So first you got to practice, like, what is that offer? Get to have success closing that offer before you can even scale it into, okay, let's turn this into a machine where I'm going to pay for traffic. Those leads are going to opt in or sign up for a free report, or watch a webinar, or whatever it is. You have to really build that out, flesh it out, optimize it. And even before you can do that, though, know what your customers actually really want, which is one of the hardest things to do. So I'm starting to meander and rant and rave like a crazy man. So let's quick recap here on the 3/4 ways, because I think I threw in an extra one at the end there. And I'm going to tease a little bit of what ways I've been working on in kind of the background to help you get more clients personally, um, from me to you. So real quick here. First, number one, if you have no experience and you're trying to get your first client, do what I do. Take it on the chin. Identify who your dream client would be. Who would be that number one person you would want to work with the most, and then do a full court press of outreach, coming from a very humble, eager perspective and tone, saying that you're willing to hustle and you want to work your butt off to make an impression with them because you love what they do. They love what you love, who they are and what they represent and the work that they produce. And you would just love to help them grow their business and share their message with the world, right? And so that gives you those three things. It gives you the experience, it gives you the practice, it gives you the asset that then you can add to your portfolio that you created with them. It gives you potentially a testimonial, right? And then potentially, after you get that testimonial, that client might turn into a paying client or a reference. So actually, potentially 4 or 5 things that could come out of that, right? So that's, if you're brand new, that's what I would do. And to find those people, I would identify the top businesses you want to work with, or I would go into job boards of job boards that contain listings of the type of services you offer, right? And maybe reach out to some of those people, like, hey, I know you're looking to hire someone, but I'm willing to just do it for free, just to build my portfolio, etc. Next, after you've already worked with just a couple and you're trying to get more consistent client work, reaching out to your current clients and seeing if you can get more work from them, scale up the work you're currently doing with your existing clients who are already in love with you, or ask them if they have friends, partners who they can refer, or who they know of who are also looking for copywriters or whatever service you offer. All right. So referrals would be number two once you've reached that mid tier. And again, referrals can keep a lot of folks busy for a very long time. I could never go hungry again if I was only dependent on referrals for the rest of my life. Period. So even the last two options that I gave aren't even necessary if you have great referrals. And then lastly, if you want to try to scale up and create more an automated approach to bringing in clients, then positioning yourself as an authority and being a content creator where you're publishing your ideas on your industry in your niche and separating yourself from the other service providers who do what you do and showing why you are the expert that other people turn to. And by extension, when people come and they want to learn about what you offer and what you do, naturally there'll be a lot of people who are like, well, I don't want to do that myself. I just want to hire Matt or whomever, right? So becoming an authority, publishing content organically. There's the organic approach, but then there's the inorganic approach. There's the paid media approach, which is the most scalable, but also one of the hardest to do, which is sending cold traffic to a funnel that then you're going to optimize and convert those prospects into customers through that funnel, whether that's getting them on the phone, selling them on a webinar, depending on the price of your offer and what's involved, you might need to do phone sales. You might be able to do it with just a video close or just with a text sales letter. It really depends on level of awareness, price of your offer, all the copy fundamentals that we like to talk about. But those are the big 3/4 things there at the end there that I wanted to talk about with y'all tonight. If you got questions, love to drop them in the chat here. I'm probably not going to go the full 2 hours that Rich likes to. I just don't have his stamina. He's got 20 years on me, but still is like twice the speaking stamina that I do. So if you got comments or questions, or just want to boo me off the stage, feel free to drop that in the chat. But one thing I do want to tease here before I jump off is this problem that we've been chatting about tonight. The problem of finding clients and getting clients and getting a consistent stream of clients for what you want to do is awesome. And I'm sorry, just reading the comments. I'm terrible at speaking. I'm terrible at speaking. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. Very interesting session from an insider on going from a beginner to successful copywriter. You're very welcome, Gordon. Amazing brother. Thank you. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar. I appreciate you too, man. Sales letter or VSL. Do both. Usually I just convert one to the other. Samuel, pound it, man. Thanks for watching on both platforms today. All right. So one thing I just wanted to drop, a little teaser bit. Do not, well, I am being recorded right now, but don't hold me to this at any point. This is fiction right now, but it could be reality very, very soon, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to y'all about getting clients tonight and test out this idea is because it's something that we've been discussing a lot internally about how to, what do our customers care about most? Like what would move the needle most for our own customers and people on our list? What is most beneficial to them, right? I've been having these discussions with Rich and our internal team about where most people who watch our content fall in terms of their level of experience and what would be really helpful for them based on where they're at and who our ideal customer is. And as I talked about earlier in the broadcast, CLR Winners, our flagship product, can apply to so many people. It can be useful if you're brand new and just starting off. I think that's I think in terms of like the composition of our list, I think there's a lot of people on our list who are brand new, who don't have their first clients yet, who are still maybe working a 9 to 5 job and are just curious about what it would be like to be a solopreneur, to be a freelancer, to grow their own business online. So there's a lot of folks on that level. Um, there's a lot of folks in the intermediate level who are service providers, who I think is who I think my gut and my what I suspect and my suspicions is that the service providers on our list are really who our core target market should be for Steal Our Winners and our flagship product, and who we want to be speaking most to. And correct me if I'm wrong. And this is, again, this is a conversation I'm just having with all of you, and really trying to judge the success of this live stream, and a couple other marketing things we want to do, and really measure like who's vibing most with the stuff we put out, and using that to direct how we take the content moving forward, right? So the service providers on our list, I would expect that there's a lot of folks on our list, and who consume our content, who do have some clients, who have done client work. They know what they want to sell. Um, maybe they've gotten a few referrals, but they're just struggling to scale their client business. They want clients more consistently. They want to be seen as the expert in their space. They want to go from service provider to authority. I think ultimately a lot of the people who get value from Steal Our Winners, they are service providers and almost see themselves as colleagues of the people we interview in Steal Our Winners. I think ultimately a lot of the people who are customers of Steal Our Winners envision themselves being contributors of Steal Our Winners and sharing their own strategies that are working right now in for their clients and their business, and being more on an equal footing with just all the experts and guests who we bring on to share their ideas, and position it more of like, you're not coming to learn from these big gurus who are so detached and so far away, but more like this is a community of service providers and experts, and we're all learning from each other, right? And the way I'm thinking about it is more, maybe Steal Our Winners is the place where service providers can come to stay on the cutting edge, and to get connected with the business owners who actually need to get those strategies applied to their business, right? And when that's kind of the third level of the customers who we've been talking about, there's, we just said there's the intro newbie people who haven't really done anything. They're just getting started online. There's the people in the middle who are service providers, and maybe they have a handful of clients and they're doing okay, but they would like that to be way more consistent, and just have a consistent flow of clients, and feeling like they have a really strong offer, and really scaling their service-based business. And then one up from that would be business owners who have a relatively medium to larger scale business, where they have a larger team, probably like 10 or more people in their organization at least. They probably do at least 7, probably 8 or more figures per year. But for those people, for those business owners who are either their CEOs or their CMOs, or they're managing the day-to-day operations of their business, for those folks, they find the ideas in Steal Our Winners interesting. But the problem with Steal Our Winners for a lot of those folks is that they don't have the time to actually go through and want to consume it all. And then they're not the implementers. They're not the integrators who are then can actually take that stuff and put it into action. They want to find someone who's going to do it for them, right? So there's this kind of disconnect. Like, we have this Goldilocks paradox. I think, this is my intuition, and just how I've been thinking about our product and our list. And again, this is just a dialogue I'm trying to have with y'all to figure out if we're onto something here. Just thinking about how we can build Steal Our Winners to get the most value to the people who need it most, right? And so the way I'm thinking about it is maybe the way that people get the most value from Steal Our Winners is by connecting service providers like y'all, like the people who would go into Steal Our Winners so they can learn a new strategy that then they wouldn't just use for their own business, but they would want to take that strategy, package it up, and then sell it to clients, right? Like if there's a great media buying strategy, or if there's a great email marketing strategy, and if you're a copywriter, you go and learn that strategy. It's like, oh, you're a business owner and you like that strategy too, but you don't have the time or the bandwidth to go and write that campaign yourself and apply it in your business. Well, perfect. I'll go write that for you, right? So would it be great? I don't know. This is what we've been thinking about, and like, how can we make this as done for you as possible, right? Like done for you always sells way better than done with you, which is way better than not done for you at all, which is info products, which Matt Smith, that mentor I mentioned earlier, always told me, um, info is the hardest thing to sell. It is. Info is hard to sell. It's hard to sell info because it's not done for you, and because it is hard. People have to not only read and consume all and learn, but then they actually have to go and take action. They have to learn it and they have to apply it. Whereas done for you, it's just, oh, I get the gist of this, and now you're going to do all the work for me. You don't even have to learn it with done for you. You just have to know the outcome you want and cut a check. And I think ideally, with Steal Our Winners, I feel like we can get to a point where we have a platform where service providers can come in and learn the best strategies that are working right now, and then connect them with the business owners who have the money but don't have the time to apply all the strategies. And then y'all can have this pipeline of clients who are ready and waiting for you, and you don't even have to come up with your own offer. You can just we're giving you the offers that you need to sell to these clients based off the strategies that they want implemented for their business and Steal Our Winners. Again, we don't have anything like that right now. It is in the works. So I can't reveal too much tonight about what we're working on, but that is the general premise of it, is that, maybe there's something here to actually helping our customers of Steal Our Winners actually find clients. And if they can do that in the platform and connecting business owners with service providers, I don't know. It seems like there could be a synergy there. If y'all think that's a good idea, let me know in the comments. And if that would be interesting to you, if you would like a job board in Steal Our Winners where you can go and find people looking to pay people to implement those strategies in their business, or if you're a business owner and you don't have the time to apply all those strategies, but you would just love to pay someone who knows that strategy already and do it in your business, how great would that be? I don't know. Well, let me know in the comments. I'll start reading some of these, but these are just some of the things that we've been spitballing here as Strategic Profits, and it's where my mind's been at over the past week. Don Miner says, I've been studying John Carlton stuff lately. Who do you suggest to learn from nowadays? Don, that's a great question. John is notoriously the bad boy copywriter. Gotta love John Carlton, the infamous John Carlton. I would say of new copywriters, obviously you should read my emails, as self-serving as that is. I would say of the younger folks, big fan of Ian Stanley, big fan of Stefan Georgi, big fan of Justin Goff. Those are the newer copywriters that I read from a bunch. I should get on more lists. I'm starting to turn into a dinosaur myself sometimes, so I need to prevent that by staying in touch. It's always, and again, my excuse is I'm the managing partner. I do the day-to-day operations. I don't have time for all that. It's bullshit. I should make sure that's a priority too. So thank you for reminding me, Don, that I need to stay in touch with all the new kids and who's writing copy these days. Because I don't know, maybe Ian and Stefan and Justin, those are the new kids to me. But I'm sure for like the TikTok generation, those guys even seem like dinosaurs. So I don't know. All right, Rob, thank you for the compliment. Appreciate it. I'm glad that you love the writing. Thank you, Hamza. Thank you for showing up, man. Appreciate it. Don says he's testing the waters out, and the Anthony Morrison group just wrote 17 emails to see how I do. I'm not familiar with this program, Don. I'm curious about that. I know he has his. Actually, I don't know too much about the program at all. So, like, what with his email programming? What did you get paid for those emails? Is that like you go through a course and then you write the emails and then you get graded? How does that work? I'm curious. And also, just feel free to send me an email with details about it too. Uh, I read most of the emails, and if I need to read them, they always get forwarded to me. So anything sent to mail@strategicprofits.com is how you can send me a quick note. MAIL, not mail, MALE. Yes, I am a male at strategicprofits.com. That's a bad joke. Let's keep going. Thank you, Hamza. Appreciate that. Preston says, good ideas and call, Matt. Side note, you swiped one of Ben's words, gurus, recently without credit, and he noticed. Thought you'd want to know since you know how he feels about swiping. Oh, Preston, I didn't know Ben owns gurus. Did he notice? I don't know. I don't read all of Ben's emails. And for the record, I did not swipe that. That email itself was actually written by uh, my good friend Pete Coyne, who was the former publisher at Strategic Profits prior to me. So that was not I think that email was guru, and gurus. It's like the little G, big G, and just the wonky one. Yeah, that wasn't on me. So I I'm I'm not 100% sure the origin story of gurus. So if Ben wants to own it, he can own it. That's fine. Uh, Doctor says it sounds good. Thanks, Doc. Awesome. Yes, I would like to help people implement your recent strategies. Okay, love it. Good to hear, Power Drummer. Do you have your own list, or is this the ones from Rich? I used to have my own list. So before I got connected with Rich, I was writing emails to just my own list. And then when I joined joined Rich at Strategic Profits, like it didn't make sense to me to just write my own content. I was like, if I'm going to be writing emails, I might as well write them with Rich instead of trying to run his business as well as running a separate business when both of them ultimately have the same outcome. And I'm getting this kind of like the same question here from Jamie. Jamie, how do we follow your marketing material? I'm just an asshole, dude. I'm sorry. I've been bad with my publishing. I get too busy. Again, I'm so busy with the day-to-day operations, and that's a terrible excuse. I really want to put a lot more time and attention into my own content creation and be releasing not just my emails to the list, which I have been doing a bad job with, but doing a lot more video content. If you would like more video content from me, raise your hand. I don't know, a little comment in there or a little thumbs up would be great. I like doing the video content. It's fun for me to jump on. Like I said, I don't have the stamina that Rich does to do like the 2-hour thing, but I want to start doing more YouTube videos and just short form videos that I can just bang out, record, shoot them off to you. I'm always reminded of this test that Caleb O'Dowd did that he shared at a Steeler Winners interview. He was talking about a split test he did with Facebook groups, where he had these 2 Facebook groups and he was dripping out the same content to each Facebook group, and he was using the groups to sell his offer. But the only difference he did when split testing these 2 groups is in one of the groups, he just wrote out the blog posts all in text. And then the other group, he took all that blog copy and just turned it into a video and recorded himself reading it and put his face on there and everything. And the group that had got his videos, that the response rate was 3 to 4x compared to just text alone, right? And he attributes that to know, like, and trust, right? Like people getting to see my face and know who I am, hear my voice, hear my cadence and my sometimes accent, and just the lexicon that I use and my mannerisms and whatnot. All those make me feel real. It's true. I'm real. I'm not part of the metaverse yet. Um, but if you want to break down those barriers between you and your customers and clients, especially with everyone remote now, video is not a trend. Like video is here to stay. The video is not a blip on the radar. And sure, text publishing is not going anywhere either. But I promise you, more and more people are going to demand video, and we're already seeing that. It's been a big theme that Rich and I have been talking about a lot. Like we want our content to be more video focused. Ultimately, I think almost every email I think in the future, almost right. I think of our content emails, I want to get to a point where um, I would say of 7 days a week, we're mailing a video at least 5 of the 7. And that's a new video, whether that's Rich doing his live stream on Tuesday and Thursday, whether it's me recording videos, whether it's someone else on the team recording videos. Like I want to be producing a lot more video content, and we get a lot of engagement from video content. It's a lot harder to measure engagement on text content, but also just for the whole know, like, and trust aspect of it. Like if we can get people to feel comfortable with all the people on our team and feel like they know who we are and what we're about, and they can trust us, they dig who we are, and they dig our vibe, then that's going to just radically speed up the amount of time it takes to get to know someone and feel comfortable enough making the sale, and the feeling having them trusting us enough to have that type of relationship, which it does require a lot of trust. Da, da, da. Yeah, Pete should have known better. Yeah, I agree with you, Preston. There, Hamza says AWI trainings are awesome for copywriters. You think it's better than Stefan and Ian? Really? I would disagree. I've gone through some AWI stuff. I would say actually I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to take digs at AWI. I've gone to AWI, their live conference, and I know the founder of AWAI, so I've consumed a lot of material theirs over the years. Happy to endorse AWAI. Also, if you're a copywriter, one of the things of AWIs that I really like is that they publish a state of the industry report every year. At least they were. And I was using this as a negotiation tool. So if you go to AWAI, they have a free report that you can download that gives you baseline expectations of what you should be charging as a copywriter for different types of assets, whether that's an email or a VSL or sales letter, opt-in copy, whatever landing page. So they have a state of the industry report for copywriters that will tell you what they are paying copywriters and what copywriters are getting paid for different types of assets. And so in my experience, I think the report is a little inflated. I think the numbers are a little higher than what the industry average is. But it's a great tool that you can use as a copywriter to give you some negotiation leverage. Like if a client is giving you a hard time about what you want to charge for certain types of assets, just send them the report and say, hey, yeah, like I'm charging you this, but according to AWI, who's the number one authority in copywriting, like this is what the industry standard is, right? So you're not setting the rate, they're kind of setting the rate, and you're able to use that as a benchmark. So that's one of the big things AWI is that I've always recommended. Hey, I remember one day reading your email. You want to kill your sorry to deviate. Yeah, that is a deviation, my friend. I think the email is up on the website too if you want to go read that. It's one of my favorites, and everyone. I actually was at an in-person conference the other week, and someone brought it up there too. I'll save that one for later. I don't need to trigger the really sensitive folks on the call with the whole retelling of that story. Don Miner, it's a free class Anthony has. He looks them over, offer a suggestion, and buy some money for the students that he likes. So it's an email copy class, and the copywriting class is free. He looks them over, offer suggestion, and buys so many for this. Okay, so is it like you write emails for him for free, and then he reviews them, and if he really likes the ones, if he thinks he has some really strong ones, he'll buy them from those students. That's what it sounds like. That's a good strategy. I like that. That's kind of like the spec assignment thing, right? Again, I've done that with a lot of copywriters over the years, where I actually do use the work, and I do pay people for it. So like it usually starts as a contest. Like whenever I'm hiring a big group of copywriters, I'll do that. Um, where I'll say like, hey, I did this before I even joined Rich too. I was I wanted to have a lot of book reviews on my blog, uh, book reviews on copywriting books and like internet marketing books for SEO. That so like if people are searching for reviews on those books, my blog post would come up. They'd go to my website and then find the Amazon links that are promoting that book, right? So I just reached out to a bunch of copywriters and I was like, hey, if you and want to participate in my skills challenge, write a book review. I'll give you feedback for free. It'll help you. You can add it to your portfolio. You'll get great feedback. And if I like it, hey, I'll pay you for it. And you'll get your name in the byline on my website for that post. Right. So same thing. It's like you do the work for free. And if I like it and it's going to get published, then you get paid for it, which again, it's another great if you're a service provider and you're looking to just build your portfolio and get feedback and testimonials and credentials, then that's a great place to start. And same thing if you're a business owner and you want to test out a bunch of people, because again, depending on what you're hiring for, you got to kiss a lot of frogs before you find the gem. Copywriters in particular, because there's so many out there, and the level of expertise on copywriters is wildly different. It's massively different between really, really bad copywriters and really, really good copywriters. So it's hard to find the best ones there. Haley says, hey, Matt, thanks for sharing such valuable info. Glad you think so. My wife would disagree. Question, do any of the Agora imprints in health and wellness offer any advertising? I'm looking for publishers to do solo email ads with. Thank you. Yes, Haley, I think they do. I do not work with for Agora anymore, so but I know New Market Health is still there. If you go to the Agora, I think that's the name of the Agora companies. I would search for the Agora companies. New Market Health. I know there was another one. There was at least two. Sorry, I'm on their website actually trying to look through all their imprints. Yeah, I don't see it. I knew there was another one. I'm just completely blanking on it. Career opportunity. No. Yeah, they've really taken a lot off their website about explaining who they are. I wonder why that is, Agora. You're sneaky. All right. So sorry, Haley, I don't have the other business name kind of off the top of my head here. But I do think they do solo mailings. It's very difficult typically to advertise to Agora if you're not part of Agora, because this is going to sound, you're going to think I'm joking here, but their legal requirements are so high. Before they'll mail for anyone, there's a huge strict legal review that all offers and things like that have to go through before they would get approved to be sent to an Agora list, which is why so many of the Agora imprints just mail each other's offers instead of external offers, because it's so much harder to get external offers approved versus just mailing internal offers, which have already been okayed by the same legal department, right? So that tends to be the case. Like It's really hard if you're an outside company with an offer and you want Agora to mail. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through before they even consider giving the green light and mailing for you. But it can definitely be done. Uh, Neil Brown, appreciate you, Neil. Thank you, man. I'm more like old school fan. Gary Halbert, Carlton, David Deutsch, Clayton Makepeace. Great mentors. And you, Matt, appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. I'm an old school guy too. I think my favorites, Eugene Schwartz, man. Can't beat Gene Schwartz, classic. I'd say Gene. I'd say probably one of the most I've learned from actually is Mark Ford. Never. I'm biased because I cut my teeth at Agora, but Great Leads is a great book. Michael Masterson and John Ford on that one. Well, Michael Masterson is his pen name. Mark Ford, just so you know. But Great Leads is probably one of the best copywriting books I've read. That in collaboration with Breakthrough Advertising. Like Breakthrough Advertising is really expensive. I know Brian Kurtz sells it because he has the IP for it. I think at this point, because it was published by Boardroom. I think he sells it for like $100 or $200. But if you don't have Breakthrough Advertising or it's too expensive for you, just go and read Great Leads, because Great Leads takes the ideas from Breakthrough Advertising, but then actually shows you how to implement them. It gives you specific examples of leads that you should use depending on the level of awareness of the customer you're selling to at the time. So it takes the theory of Breakthrough Advertising and then shows you actually how to put it into practice. And it's fantastic. Great book. Another one I really like, Ogilvy on Advertising, fantastic. Many of the John Cable's books are great. And then I would say, I'm blanking there. Yeah, Ogilvy, Cable's. Oh yeah, the first book I read was actually probably one of the most helpful, and it's super great for beginners and just so fundamental that I highly recommend it all the time. It's Bob Bly's Copywriter's Handbook. So the Copywriter's Handbook by Bob Bly, so just basic and practical and actionable. It's literally the first copywriting book I've read, and maybe it's recent primacy bias, but in my mind, it's just so solid and one of the best. Emmy wants to know, Matt, do you think that all copywriting skills will be mandatory with AI taking over? I heard Rich saying that Perry Marshall said that he is totally dependent on AI and it produced better results. That's a good question, Emmy. I don't know for sure. I know I've seen Jarvis do some pretty incredible things. As it stands right now, though, I think it's still really hard to replace human with the machine. I think it's going to be more of a complement for copywriters than replacing copywriters. I think copywriters will use the AI maybe to help them come up with some new angles or fill out some body copy when you're listing out specific benefits. But there's so much still that it can't do. And even when you're using a program like Jarvis, you have to feed it a lot of details first that then it's able to go on and write copy based off that input. But that input has to come from a human, right? So like we're seeing all these AI copywriters and they do a good job, but we're forgetting that all that AI copy was still guided by a human, right? Still had humans going in there and giving it that seed of the idea or giving it that structure or telling it the direction to go into and correcting it as it deviates. And as I've watched demos of this a bunch of times, and it's like, yeah, the output you get the first time isn't always the greatest, and you cut it, or you grab what you do like and you put it back in the machine again. But it's not just like that. It's not just like, hey Jarvis, write me a sales letter, and it's gonna read your mind and know all the things that you need to talk about, right? There's so much context that goes into copywriting, and there's so much research that goes into it too. And obviously, the AI will help you with research, but it's not going to be able to research your life story, right? It's not going to know all the depths of your soul and the context of what happened to you during that day in your life and the way you felt. And so storytelling is really, really difficult when you're telling a story that's not on the internet that Jarvis can just pull from and regurgitate, right? When you're interviewing your customers and you're getting their case studies and they're telling you their story and how it changed their life, a robot can't read that. A robot can't write that, right? That's someone's unique experience that doesn't live on the internet. They Jarvis might be able to tell you like why eating a banana is healthy, but it won't be able to tell you the story of Matt Rizvi and how he was able to overcome his severe dyslexia to become the greatest copywriter in the world. And he can't tell you that because that never happened. I don't have dyslexia. No. All right. I hope that answers your question, Emmy. Rob says, I read your post about your experience of going to CA in the past and how you benefited from it. Any tips for a huge introvert who wants to go to these masterminds as a copywriter and make connections? Don't speak like I do. So Rob, yeah, I'm a huge introvert. I would say, well, on the DL, Rich's suggestion in this situation is to microdose ecstasy. I take it that's not the suggestion you were hoping for. Frankly, Rob, I'm probably not the person to ask, because I've gone to a lot of events like this, and I'm just not good at it, dude. I wish I had better advice for you, and that's probably like why that's why I'm not in Cabo right now. You know, if I was a super extrovert and I can suck it up and I can do it, and it's fun sometimes, to go out and bump elbows and meet people and grow your network, and it's critical. It's super helpful, without a doubt. But at the same time, I've blown a lot of money on tickets to masterminds and events, and then I go and then I get back and I'm like, I'm not fucking following up with any of these people. And that's my fault as an introvert, right? Like, this is not an indictment on the events. There is money to be made at those events. There is huge opportunities to be taken advantage of at those events. There's clients to be won at those events, right? But I just know myself, I'm not good at it. I've tried multiple times, and most of the time, I don't end up with something that was like, okay, I just spent $1,500 on the ticket, $500 on my flight, another $500 on the hotel. So I'm in a rental car or whatever, food. So I'm, all in. I'm in it for like $3,000 or something. Am I gonna generate $3,000 from that happy hour I was just at? I don't know. Maybe not. I think it's changing for me as I evolve in this business. As for me, going out to these events is more for recruiting copywriters and finding talent and striking JV deals. JV deals are way easier for me to do, but like getting hired and like trying to find clients throughout those events, it's just harder. I'm much more of an introvert when I feel like I'm coming from a position of weakness versus strength. Like when I go to the events now and I'm like, hey, I'm Matt Rizvi and I'm the managing partner at Strategic Profits, and we're looking to hire some copywriters, so you should want to come up to me. Like, that's that's way easier for me to handle because it's, again, a lot of people want to work with us, so they just come up to me and I don't have to do the awkward song and dance and that kind of stuff. Long story, really long, Rob. I'm sorry here. Um, microdose ecstasy is what Rich would say. But um, I guess my suggestion is you really have to just evaluate yourself. Okay, you know deep down what you are and what you are not willing to do at a conference. You know what how painful is it for you to go up and meet new people, and then even if you do get that information, how brave are you going to be once you get home and do the follow-up and send them emails, and when they don't respond, send more emails and pick up the phone and call them. If you're cool with that, if you're hungry and you're willing to make that commitment, then absolutely do it, man. But for me, I knew that I didn't have the balls to do that, and I still don't in a lot of regards. And I tell myself I do, and I work on it, and I practice, and I've gotten better, but it's still really hard. Um, I know for me, my the ROI is probably best used for me doing cold outreach or reaching out to people who already know, who then I can get referrals from. Like if that's your choice, if it's like, okay, I'm either going to go in person to this mastermind and be there and meet people live, or I'm going to invest that money and that time into uh, reaching out with people who I already have in my network, getting on calls with them, seeing if they can give me referrals, or doing cold outreach to people who I haven't met. But it's not as scary for me because it's over email or Facebook Messenger or whatever. But at least, I'm going to take action on that. Right. So ultimately, it just comes down to, is your introversion a big enough of a impediment that no matter what you do or like how you prep, you're just not gonna are you gonna follow up or not? Is what it comes down to. And if you are, good, go for it, try it. Especially if you've never been to events like that, you at least need to give it a shot and give it your best foot forward, see how you do. But if you realize like it's just not the way I operate, it's not my strength, and instead I'd be better off doubling down on my strengths and focusing on cold outreach or those things that the styles that work better for me, then I would avoid it. Rob's like, "Ha, I got you, man." Yeah, I'm ranting now. I think I'm pretty sure actually Ian Stanley and Stephen Georgi have a product about this. They created like a freelancer program on how to get clients. It's like called freelance. I'm going to butcher the name because I don't remember it, but I know they co-created a program together about how getting clients for freelance copywriters. And the reason that they worked together on it was because Stefan is a really big introvert and Ian's a really big extrovert. And I've met both of them, and that's true. Stefan's an introvert, Ian's an extrovert, right? So, but they both talk about strategies in that program. One, Stefan's strategies are all about strategies for getting clients as an introvert. Ian's are all about getting clients as an extrovert. So I'd recommend checking that out. But again, long story long. Emmy, I personally experienced in selling far more better than producing results, and it's fast. Love it, Emmy. I'm so glad you achieved good results from Profit Singularity. Good to hear it. Thanks, Matt, for the tips. Me trying them out someday soon. Awesome to hear. AI seller should be great for AI buyers. Absolutely. So it's not blah blah blah. It just so happens so Jarvis will tell my story. If he's gonna, but then I have to tell him the whole story, right? Don't I, doctor? Right? Like if he's gonna tell my story, first I have to tell him my story, and then I might as well have just told the story myself, right? Do I think hypnosis and language patterns can provide better results? Better and and copy. Hypnosis and language patterns. Honestly, dude, I don't put much stock in NLP, natural language processing. No, they're neuro-linguistic programming. There's actually two definitions of NLP: the initialism, natural language processing, which is an AI term, versus the hypnotist version, which is neuro-linguistic programming. So I'm assuming you're talking about, neuro-linguistic programming, which I've never put much stock into because it's not actually backed by research. Like, I don't think there's actual studies that show that NLP works. Do people still do it? Yes. I don't put much stock into it, but hey, it might work. I just haven't seen the research. So does it work? Does it not? A lot of people think it does. Same thing with like handwriting sales letters. A lot of people say you should handwrite a sales letter. I've never done it. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It could totally. I could see why it would work. I can understand the thought process of why handwriting a sales letter would work. So I'm willing to give that one a little more credence. But NLP, I don't know. I've never been hypnotized, so we'll see. Emmy says it definitely makes a difference. That's what Rich was. Yeah, I know he was talking about his linguistic viruses on the second one. Absolutely, I think like the things you tell yourself can have a major impact. But it is like one word. I'm not gonna get it because honestly I don't know enough about NLP to bash it, but I totally agree though that affirmations and the stuff you read and the ideas that you tell yourself every single day, 1,000% impact the way I start my day or the way I approach my work. 100%. All right. Jeez, Don, you're right. It's these freaking Q&As, man. Like I was wrapped up with my content in 50 minutes ago, and it just the questions don't stop. Thank you for participating. Round of applause to y'all. My wife was like, I thought you'd be eating dinner with me an hour ago. I'm joking. We don't eat dinner together. Come on. What are we, a family? Yeah. Do I do any mentoring? I should. I don't currently, John. But I am planning on. I want to do more copy mentoring. I want to do because I miss. I mean, I'm technically a copy chief. I chief the copy that we produce internally here at Strategic Profits, but I would love to do that externally as well and give folks the opportunity to hand me some money to look at their copy and tell them how it can be better. It's fun. Like I've always I do miss doing live copy reviews, is especially public copy reviews. I love the urgency and the pressure of writing copy on the spot, improving copy live, and then watching people's faces react. To me, just whip up sometimes terrible, sometimes fantastic copy out of thin air. So I definitely will be doing it. I have plans to do it too. The mentoring, definitely not this year. It'll probably be Q1 2022 at the earliest, or Q2 the latest. In general, we plan to be doing more partnerships with other businesses. Like you might have noticed that we were advertising Todd Brown's coaching program, his E5 program, and we have a partnership with Todd where if you join Todd's program through our offer, you'll also get group coaching with Rich. So just like we're kind of looking for these opportunities to partner with with what we think are the best in class coaching programs in our industry. So for funnels, we think Todd does it the best, and so that's why we're partnering with him for that. But for copywriting, for email copywriting, for example, like I like Ian Stanley a lot. I think he's a stand-up guy. I think he has good ethics. I think he puts out good content and doesn't make crazy stupid claims in his copy. So I trust Ian. I think he's talented. I think he's smart, and I think he legitimately cares about the results that his customers get. And so I could imagine us doing a partnership with Ian too, potentially, where we partner with him and want to recommend his copywriting program. And then like I would love to offer my copy critiques as like a bonus for that, if we decide to do that. So if I do mentoring, it's probably going to be in some type of way like that, where we just partner with another business who does copy coaching, whether that's Justin and Stefan, or Kevin Rogers, or Ian Stent, whoever it is. We're, again, nothing right now is all preliminary. But if I were to do copy coaching and mentoring in the near future, it would be as a bonus or an addendum to one of the programs that we're going to partner with. So hopefully that answers your question there. Hey, Matt. I guess I have been hypnotized. I don't know. Maybe. She is hypnotic. That's for sure. Yo, Matt, how can get more some of your stuff as fast as without reading David Allen stuff? Oh, David Allen, like get stuff done. I think you're making a joke there, right, Hamza? Yeah. Again, just follow the email list. I just need to apologize because I haven't been producing as much content as I typically do, Hamza. I had been in the cadence of writing a new email to the list 3 days a week. I've fallen off on that a little bit, so I need to get back on the wagon. And I'm, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, trying to put it together, building out our video team. Right now, we don't really have a video team. I need video editors so we can just start cranking out more consistent video content. If we're just doing these live streams twice a week, we want to be leveraging that video content a lot better than we currently are. And like I said, I'd love to just start blasting out some more video content too. Hey Priya, thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you. I wish that group coaching would have been a bonus for Gary and Rom's course. I don't know who they are. How can provide more content? How you do it? I see what you're saying. You're trying to figure out how to generate more content. Well, Hamza, that's a great question. And it's a fantastic question for another live stream that I'm not having right now. Sorry, my friend. It is 8:00 and I'm a little exhausted. My voice is starting to get a little hoarse over here. It always does. I don't know how Rich talks for 2 hours. Like usually when I present or speak, I always feel like I'm talking so fast. And by the end of it, like I get feel a little something in the back of my throat. You can't hear it. It's there. I feel it. But it's been fun, y'all. I hope it's been fun for you too. There are still people watching this right now, so it hasn't been a complete train wreck that Rich told me it would be when he asked me to fill in. But I appreciate all of your attention. Thank you for the wonderful comments. Thank you for tuning in tonight and giving me some good feedback. Shoot me an email too, just at mail@strategicprofits.com. If the whole getting clients thing and using Steal Our Winners as a way to get connected with clients who want to pay people to implement those strategies, or if you're in the other shoes on the other foot and you're a client who wants to pay service providers for just getting those things done, like, is that a good idea? Would you all be interested in that? Shoot me an email, let me know. But appreciate y'all just tuning in tonight. Norf asked, these recorded lives are recorded. Absolutely, they're recorded. As soon as this is done, you're going to be able to watch the full replay. It's also going to be on YouTube and our YouTube channel, Strategic Profits. Again, replays and everything will be immediately available after this recording is done. You can watch through the full 2 hours. And of course, you'd want to watch 2 more hours of me. Of course. All right, everybody. Have a great night. So happy to have you on, and just appreciate your time. Peace out.